Hey y'all, it's me, Miss B. Today we're talking about how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide functions in function notation. First, we have to cover what function notation is. I've divided our notes into two sections, day 1 and day 2. Okay, so here's function notation. Here we have f of x equals x plus 5. Okay, so here are each of those parts. Let me label here. So that f, that is the name of the function. The x is the input, and that x plus 5, anything to the right of the equal sign, is the function value. So usually we talk about domain as all of the x values, which is still true. However, we're going to write a new definition down. We want to say that domain is all of the inputs that the function is allowed to use. Okay, and so when we ask ourselves about domain, we ask, is there anything that x can't be? Okay, so there are two scenarios where we would have something x can't be in the denominator, so we have to deal with fractions or with even roots. Okay, we'll get to that a little later. And then here are function operations. Addition, we've got f plus g of x, so that's the same thing as f of x plus g of x. We're just adding those two functions together. Same thing for subtraction. Here's addition, here's subtraction. For multiplication, we're multiplying those two things together. And then for division, we're obviously dividing, or we can write it as a fraction. And this one right here is where we might have what's called a domain restriction. Okay, so let's jump right into it. We're adding and subtracting functions, so we're actually going to find both. First it asks, what is f plus g of x? Okay, so what is f plus g of x? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, that's the same thing as f of x plus g of x. So I'm going to take my two functions, f of x plus g of x, and add them together. So I'm going to have 4x plus 7 plus x squared plus 3. So those are those two functions. I'll even put parentheses around them so we can distinguish them out a little bit. All right, and then we combine like terms. So we'll do 4x, so x squared is all by itself, 4x is all by itself, and then 7 plus 3 is 10. So that right there is our function. Okay, so I'm just going to write out what we did. So we want to combine like terms and put it in standard notation. Okay. Then it asks us, what is the domain? The domain, there is nothing that x can't be, so it is all real numbers or negative infinity to infinity. All right, let's jump into the next one. What is f minus g of x? So that's the same thing as f of x minus g of x. So I'm going to put two parentheses, a minus in between. F of x goes in the first one, so that is 4x plus 7, which is given to us up here. And then g of x is x squared plus 3. To simplify, we'll distribute that negative through. And so we get 4x plus 7 minus x squared minus 3. Combine like terms, so we get negative x squared plus 4x plus 4. All right, again, I have no fractions and no roots, so the domain is all real numbers, or negative infinity to infinity. Okay, go ahead, pause your video, and try this next one on your own. Okay, so f plus g of x, you're adding these two values together, so you're taking 2x squared plus 8 plus x minus 3, and so we get 2x squared plus 8x, I'm sorry, not plus 8x, plus x plus 5. All right, and then the domain for this is all real numbers, or negative infinity to infinity. F minus g of x, or f of x minus g of x, we have 2x squared plus 8 minus x minus 3. Distribute that negative through, and we get 2x squared plus 8 minus x plus 3, which is then 2x squared minus x plus 11. Again, the domain, we have no fractions or roots, so it's going to be negative infinity to infinity. Okay, let's go on to multiplying and dividing functions. So it's the same thing, we're just multiplying together. So for f of x times g of x, I'm going to put f of x in this light blue and g of x in this pink. So I'm going to take f of x, so x squared minus 9 times g of x, which is x, ooh, I don't like that those are different sizes, times x plus 3. That'll give me my answer. So we want to FOIL this to multiply. So I'm going to take this x squared, multiply it by x and 3. So I get x to the third plus 3x squared. Want to take the 9 through, so 9 times x, negative 9x, and negative 9 times 3, negative 27. Then we'll combine like terms, so we get, actually, you know what, that's it. This was standard form right here, just different colors. And then the domain, we don't have any fractions and we don't have any roots, so negative infinity to infinity is the domain. All right, for this next one, we want to take x squared minus 9, f of x divided by g of x. So we're going to take x squared minus 9 over, I did this wrong, sorry, over our g of x, which is x plus 3. Okay, and for the domain, we'll just leave it like that for now. For the domain, we can't have 0 in the denominator. So we need to set our denominator, x plus 3 equal to 0, and solve. Or actually, we said not equal to 0 and solve. So x cannot be equal to negative 3. Right, if I were to draw a number line like this, put negative 3 on it, I can't have it be negative 3, but I can have it be everything else on the line. So we're going to write our answer as negative infinity to negative 3, and then negative 3 to infinity. Okay. Go ahead and try this next one on your own. Okay, so we want to do f of x times g of x. So we're going to take 3x squared minus 11x minus 4 times 3x plus 1. We want to multiply through. I'm going to move this over here just so we can have room. So I'm going to take 3x squared times 3x times plus 1. So that's going to be 9x to the third plus 3x squared. Take this 11x and multiply it through. So negative 11x times negative 3x and negative 11x times 1. So we get negative 33x squared minus 11x. And then finally we'll take that negative 4 through. So negative 4 times 3x and negative 4 times 1. Negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Combining like terms, so these two and these two. And we get 9x to the third minus 30x squared minus 23x minus 4. Oops. Okay, and then our domain for that function is all real numbers or negative infinity to infinity. All right, for division, gonna take f of x divided by g of x. So f of x is 3x squared minus 11x minus 4 over g of x, which is 3x plus 1. Okay, so again, this simplifies, but we're going to leave it. We still need to see the domain. So for the domain, we need to set our denominator not equal to 0. So I take 3x plus 1, set it not equal to 0, and solve. So x cannot equal negative 1/3 for the domain. Okay, then tomorrow we'll do day 2.